You're in a crowded subway or maybe a busy street. Suddenly, someone collapses. People look around. Feet shuffle. Breath catches. And then, nothing. Nobody moves. Your mind races. Why do people stay silent in situations that demand action? Silence in crowds is not random. It's a fascinating part of human psychology. Our brains behave differently in groups than when we are alone. Fear, confusion, social pressure, and invisible forces take over, leaving many frozen. In this video, we'll explore 10 psychological triggers that explain why people hesitate, freeze, or stay quiet in crowds, and reveal what you can do to break this pattern. 1. The bystander effect. The bystander effect is one of the most well-known reasons people remain silent in crowds. It occurs when the presence of others reduces the sense of personal responsibility. The more witnesses there are, the less anyone feels obligated to act. A tragic example is the 1964 case of Kitty Genovese in New York City, where dozens reportedly heard her cries for help, yet did nothing. Even in small daily situations like someone dropping a wallet or tripping on a sidewalk, the same effect appears. People assume someone else will step in. The crowd creates an invisible barrier, paralyzing action, and making silence seem like the safest choice. 2. Fear of judgment. Humans crave approval. Speaking up puts you in the spotlight, and with that comes fear. Fear of being wrong, looking foolish, or being criticized. Even when people know the right thing to do, this fear can stop them. Imagine noticing an unsafe situation at work, but staying quiet because you don't want your boss or coworkers to judge you. In a crowd, fear multiplies. Everyone fears making a mistake in front of others. This explains why even in emergencies, people hesitate. Social anxiety, self-consciousness, and concern for reputation can create a powerful mental block that keeps people silent when action is needed most. 3. Diffusion of responsibility. Diffusion of responsibility occurs when the presence of multiple people reduces an individual's feeling of accountability. Alone, you might act immediately. In a crowd, responsibility feels shared, and each person assumes someone else will handle the situation. This effect explains why bystanders sometimes ignore emergencies, why employees overlook unethical behavior, or why audiences fail to intervene in bullying situations. Understanding diffusion of responsibility shows that silence isn't laziness or apathy. It's a psychological response to group presence. People may genuinely want to act, but the sense of shared responsibility dilutes the urgency, leaving everyone frozen. 4. Social proof. Social proof is the instinct to look to others for guidance on how to behave. When no one reacts, we assume inaction is the correct response. For instance, if smoke rises in a crowded theater and everyone stays calm, people hesitate, believing it must not be serious. Social proof amplifies the bystander effect because individuals rely on the behavior of others instead of making independent judgments. Crowds often reinforce silence, creating an environment where hesitation spreads quickly. This is why group panic or confusion can escalate silently. The crowd collectively models inaction, even when immediate action could prevent harm. 5. Fear of authority. Authority figures, teachers, bosses, police officers, or leaders can suppress action. From childhood, humans are conditioned to obey authority. Challenging authority feels risky, so people often stay quiet even when something is morally wrong. Experiments like Milgram's obedience study revealed that participants would harm others under instruction from an authority figure. In crowds, even imagined authority can inhibit voices. People may recognize a problem but remain silent, worried about disapproval or punishment. Fear of authority combines with other psychological triggers, reinforcing inaction and amplifying silence in social situations. 6. Pluralistic ignorance. Pluralistic ignorance happens when individuals privately disagree with a situation but mistakenly believe everyone else agrees. Because no one voices concerns, people stay silent, thinking their own opinion is unique. For example, at parties, people might feel uncomfortable with dangerous drinking games, but seeing others participate without objection reinforces silence. Similarly, in classrooms or workplaces, Employees may notice unethical behavior but stay quiet because they believe others accept it. Pluralistic ignorance is a silent social trap. It perpetuates harmful behavior and creates crowds where everyone hesitates to speak, even though many privately recognize the problem. 7. Emotional freezing. Sometimes silence is biological. In high-stress or threatening situations, the body's fight or flight response can trigger freezing. Witnesses to emergencies often report feeling unable to move or speak, even when they want to act. Emotional freezing is a survival mechanism. The brain temporarily prioritizes observation over action. This instinct can override rational thinking, leaving people paralyzed in critical moments. Whether witnessing an accident, an assault, or a sudden danger, emotional freezing explains why many are silent despite knowing what needs to be done. The body's instinct to protect itself sometimes creates the very inaction that seems inexplicable. 8. Cultural conditioning. Culture shapes behavior in crowds. Some societies encourage speaking up, while others value silence as respect or harmony. In collectivist cultures, prioritizing group cohesion over individual expression can make crowds appear unusually quiet. For instance, individuals may avoid pointing out mistakes in public to prevent embarrassment or conflict. Cultural norms subtly teach people when to act and when to remain silent, even in emergencies. Understanding cultural conditioning helps explain why reactions vary worldwide and why silence in crowds is often more than personal choice. It's learned behavior. 9. Fear of repercussions. The risk of consequences often outweighs moral impulses. People may witness wrongdoing, injustice, or unsafe conditions, but stay silent to avoid retaliation. This fear occurs in workplaces, political settings, and public spaces. Even small punishments, criticism, social exclusion, or embarrassment can deter people from acting. Fear of repercussions is a practical survival strategy. It protects individuals from harm, but at the cost of collective action. Crowds remain silent when people calculate that speaking out carries more personal risk than remaining quiet, even if action could prevent harm. 10. De-individuation. De-individuation happens when people in large groups lose their sense of personal identity. Feeling anonymous reduces accountability, making individuals more likely to conform or stay silent. Festivals, protests, or online forums often demonstrate this effect. Individuals may avoid speaking up because their personal responsibility feels diluted. De-individuation can amplify all other triggers: fear, social proof, diffusion of responsibility, creating crowds where silence becomes the norm. People blend into the group, leaving no one to act independently, and the collective silence feels self-reinforcing. Silence in crowds isn't weakness, it's human psychology at work. The bystander effect, fear of judgment, diffusion of responsibility, social proof, fear of authority, pluralistic ignorance, emotional freezing, cultural conditioning, fear of repercussions, and de-individuation explain why people hesitate, freeze, or stay quiet. But knowledge is power. Recognizing these triggers can help you act boldly when others remain silent. One voice can spark change. If this video helped you understand human behavior, like, subscribe, and comment below with your thoughts. Don't let psychology silence you. Speak up and lead by example.